Um, Today I'm participating in the occultea tag. Actually, I filmed it yesterday, um, but I decided to refilm it because it was 2 hours and 10 minutes. Long ass video. Um, and I decided to type out all the questions and my answers. Um, Today is a rainy day, so that's why I have the light on. Yeah, I just want to try and condense it down more. So it's basically like a list that I want to uh, talk about. And sorry, I have a McAfee ad popping up on my laptop. Okay. And let me know if you want the original one, the original long version, because in that one I am more of my Aries fiery passionate self. And just let you know there is cussing in it. So start off, this was created by Ella Harrison, the Redhead Witch, and the Polish Folk Witch. Actually, I am still watching Ella Harrison's video. I decided to try and watch at least one of the original people who created the tag. But it took, since my video was pretty long, the original one, it took about 2 hours, at least, to get up to 22% to upload. And my dad wasn't having it. So, actually, it was Tuesday when I filmed it and tried to upload it. Anyways, just wanted to watch one of the original ones who made the tag. I'm about 40 minutes left of the video, and I'm loving the lengths of these videos. Most of them are over an hour long, and I do think that is necessary, very important for this tag to be a thing. So yeah, okay. Introduce yourself. How long have you been participating in the witchcraft online space? I would say since day one, really, or just about there. I started off looking up real witchcraft on Google after a marathon. Sorry, my phone just did something. After a marathon of Harry Potter. This was in 2012, by the way, with my parents. And I got on to magicandspells.com. And I was looking at their Book Shadows page or whatever. And I saw someone had a video, and it was Akasha Zero Wolf, or Akasha O Wolf. I don't know which one she used. But she was the very first one that I saw ever. And I'm like, oh my god, there's videos on here about this? And I think I commented and stuff, but as a YouTuber, I originally started on October 31st, Halloween, creating videos. But then I got back into it in January 2020. And I've been slowly making videos since then. What practices and topics do you discuss primarily? Witchcraft, paganism, and I'm trying to get into some new things as well in my practice. So I'm gonna feel it out if I should upload it and share it with you guys. And also, I have new content coming out. I have a series, and this series is kind of like this tag. The series is I'm getting annoyed on not voicing my own opinions about things, about in the witchcraft community, the pagan community, politics, whatever I fancy. So definitely have some anxiety about that. So see, there's something else that I want to say. Oh, yeah, this video might make me a villain, and that series might make me a villain too. So just let you know. And why am I so bright? Okay, hopefully that helps. Okay. Topic 1. Impact on community. What is my personal reasoning inspiration behind sharing my practice online? Definitely for community and voicing and have my voicing my thoughts, opinions, and knowledge and stuff. What am I looking to achieve by participating? Form a community to educate and learn and to have fun. That's really important to me. Do I seek to educate, learn, or connect? Yes to all three, because I just said it. How do I believe social media as a whole has impacted the community? I kind of went with like positives and negatives. Positive, more accessible to the world in general, found community and friends, solidarity. And negative, more accessible to the world. No more secrecy, not a cult anymore. I say not a cult anymore because a cult is hidden knowledge and stuff. So if it's public, then it is not hidden anymore. It's not a secret. It's not a cult. A false sense of practice, aka more aesthetically pleasing things and background and tools and stuff. The witch wars that happened like 2010s or like late 2000s. I was kind of not there at that time, but I've heard about them all the years and stuff. Like I remember, like this isn't necessarily a witch war thing, but I remember, like a year or two before I came into the community or whatever, there was a news story, about, I think it was like a Wiccan trying to get, or a witch, trying to get their, I think it was a soldier trying to get their, the pentacle on the gravestone, because at the time it wasn't, like a law or whatever. And the news anchor said, Wiccanism, and people, which is made videos and stuff like, you're wrong, and it's not Wiccanism. And that just like stuck with me. And it's inflating egos too, causing grifters, as we'll touch on it later. How do I think social platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube have each impacted education / sharing information? Well, TikTok is fast, not in-depth, shallow, aesthetic-centered. And as we all know, TikTok is hurting our attention span. So that's immediately a bad thing. Instagram is aesthetic-centered, but better than TikTok. But also shallow. But I think it's not as shallow as TikTok because, like Elle Harrison said, you can't quite get, like, you can't like share links, articles, and stuff like that on TikTok for more in depth, since it's more shallow. But on Instagram, you can have like the description. It's decently long, but on my Instagram, I do I go onto like Canva and type out a whole ass thing, a longer thing than the post like caption allows. And if it's too much, I combine the caption with the carousel I think it's called on Instagram. Excuse me. Ooh, it's raining. And actually, when it started to rain, it was hailing too, which is really cool. Um, and after some time, I heard the storm move north because it stopped hailing, but I could still hear the hail. Like I could hear the hail move, and it was so cool. Never had that before, but I think it's a sign of global warming because I lived here all my life, 26 years almost this month. Um, we would rarely get hail, but now within the last like 5 years or so, we've had I think at least one hailstorm a year. Anyways, getting back to the whole thing. Um, I think YouTube is the best platform for anything. I might have some bias here since I did get started on YouTube, with like educating myself. Um, but YouTube allows you to upload a 5 hour long video. Obviously, they do longer videos, but just for an example, 5 hour long video of a topic. But with TikTok, you have to make like a well over 70 TikToks. Since what they're like a minute or two, they might have went up to like 5 or 10 minutes long. I don't know, but to me, just sitting here talking for 5 hours is fine instead of continuously trying to get back to and how to make a whole ass 70 TikTok thing just for that one topic. You can get to decide, and I do love the more customizable decision making that YouTube gives you. You get to decide if you want to upload that whole 5 hour video or break it up into like 1 hour videos, 30-minute videos, 20-minute videos, 5-minute videos. YouTube has helped so many people in general with learning how to tie a tie, how to change a tire. Like those are like main things. They get millions of views. So I think YouTube is the best place to learn anything. Is consuming witchcraft content becoming a substitute for practice? I 100% agree with that sentiment. I just because you watch a video doesn't mean you can actually do it. Like you can watch 20 different videos on protection spells and protection magic in general. You would be considered an armchair magician. But like if you watch all that, but then you try and fight people on if they're wrong or not, but yet if you try and do like a home protection thing, and it fails in any sort of way, then I think that kind of and actually I'm going to call myself out here. I do feel like I'm an armchair magician, because I do I've done at least 10 spells at least. Probably more, but I lost count because this year will be my 12th year, and I have memory issues, so I'm not really going to remember everything, and I don't write them down most of the time, so yeah, that kind of causes me anxiety for kind of thinking I am an armchair magician. But last year I did do a couple other spell works. Like I did send a spell to one of my online friends. Did an unboxing. Lisa from Luna Moth Creations Co. Last year, around this time I think, or almost a whole year, I decided to send her a package, a spell package. And she said it worked, so it was awesome. And I'm thinking of contacting one of my friends, another YouTuber, saying, hey, I know you're struggling, like, can I help? And plus it gives me some, the creativity to um, form a spell and stuff, and also to enchant it and stuff to get more experience underneath my belt. So yeah. Part 2, influencer authenticity. Out of what I share on social media, how much of it is stage versus reality? Like 99% of the time it is reality. I don't have the energy or time. Oh, back to calling myself out. This could be labeled as an excuse for some people, but it's also like reality. I've been my mom's caregiver since I was 14 years old, and last year she died. So, and I'm 25 at the time, and I'm still 25 now. So more than a decade of being her caregiver, and before that, our household is an abusive household. So, a lot of mental health issues, a lot of fatigue, and I literally got diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and PTSD after school. So, didn't know I had all that while being educated. So it sucked. So school really sucked for me because I couldn't remember shit. And now I'm trying to figure out a list of like spells and stuff to do this year to, gain more experience, to become more powerful, because gaining more experience does make you more powerful in, like a game. You can gain more XP and stuff, and more power and more stamina and stuff. So that occurs with us in day-to-day life. So anyways, I share 99. More of it is more reality. I don't have too much energy or time to get it looking nice and presentable and aesthetic. There have been a couple of times where I did try and make it more aesthetically pleasing, like my old thumbnails with a piece of wood and the constellation fabric and the olive branch, picture. And some of my IG posts are a little bit staged to look more nice as well. Granted, I have mostly stopped with that, but I'll probably continue on to do that a little bit. Making some pictures more pleasing to the eye. Let me try and find a picture. It'll probably not look good on my phone onto the laptop, but like, and obviously I tried to get some now I wouldn't, this wouldn't for me wouldn't be under like a fake or trying to do it more aesthetically pleasing, but just finding good lighting. Wait, no. Wrong button. I accidentally turned off my Wi-Fi calling. Okay, there we go. Like this. This is. Come on. This is staged. Oh, come on. Oh. Well, it's a pack of Mars incense, and it looks somewhat aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, let me try and turn off the lights there. Not even that. What the hell? Anyways, there's some things that look more aesthetically pleasing than most. I wish I could edit it, but I don't want to. Okay. And you can check out my Instagram just to like look at it. It's basically the same name as this channel. Let's see here. I have some videos. Oh, hold on. Okay, that's for later on. I forgot to move that. Do I think there is an element of censorship in online spaces? Absolutely. Holy crap. If Homo sapien as a whole acts like this, then the witchcraft community does it as well. As above, so below, as within, as without. If the whole does it, then community will do the exact same thing. Nothing different, just human nature. There is actually unspoken rules in all communities, and I love this tag for breaking the censorship. It kind of creates a form of conformity sheeple, which is odd because most of us are black sheeps in our own lives. And plus, I'm in an Aries sign, Aquarius moon, and I do have other Aries and Aquarius positions, so I don't quite like it. We sweep things under the rug, just like some people in the Christian community, and I thought we wouldn't really be doing what the annoying Christians do. And I'm not generalizing all Christians as annoying. I'm just talking about annoying Christians. The ones that push their beliefs on to people. Because I know a couple of good Christians that don't do that. Or at least not anymore. Because they grew. This is also on misinformation. Right. About the censorship. Because having too much censorship, you can spread misinformation. But the devil, it is said that there is no devil in the craft, which isn't always true. Traditional witchcraft incorporates the witch's devil, which is not the Christian devil. The only reason why many witches say that there is no devil is because Gerald Gardner came out in the 1930s presenting Wicca. And while he was doing that, he said that he was a witch, and witches do not work with the devil. And I kind of, God, my nose has been like this for a few days. How do I decipher what, and I'll get into that more later on. How do I decipher what is appropriate to share online versus what to keep private? I try my best to decide what is appropriate to share online. When I first started, I knew I wasn't going to do vlogs because my life was boring. It's basically Groundhog's Day. I live in the same day over and over. Most of our weeks are filled with, since I am a caregiver for my dad now, sorry, an alarm. Anyways, now that my mom's passed, my dad has had some issues and stuff, so now I've become his caregiver. So anyways, our weeks are usually filled with his doctor's appointments, sometimes my doctor's appointments, and non-doctor's appointments too. And like, giving him his medicines, going out shopping for groceries, having small fights with him almost every single fucking day. Because he did have a stroke. That obviously affected his brain. But also he lost like 75% of his vision. So technically blind. Or almost blind. So yeah. And just sitting around watching YouTube, Instagram, and stuff. Yeah, so it's pretty boring. However, since I got back to posting, I have felt this thing starting to come over me to open up to share even more of my life, which I don't want to do. Like, I'm right here at the top of the stairs, and there's this creature being slowly making its way up, wanting to share more and more of my personal life with you. And I have shared some things. Like, I try not to share my surroundings where I live. Because have you seen people who play GeoGuessr? Some people are really good. And I also don't want to get doxxed either. Because some people are assholes and think they're doing justice by doxing people. Which people really need to be arrested for that and put in jail. Is this based on social media etiquette or personal preference? Like, I don't understand the social media etiquette part of this question, because to me, the internet and social media are just there. It has its own shit. It doesn't. There's social media etiquette. It doesn't, like. It's up to the person who wants to decipher on what they want to share or not. So it's like amorphous, nebulous. Do what you want, but then don't do what you want, because people are into drama and into nosy into people's lives and stuff. So it's a whole thing. But for me, it's personal preference. And plus, I'm not the only one who lives here. Like, again, it was my mom and my dad and I and our dog. But now it's our dog, me, and my dad. And I should say. So I had to think of other people that live here too. Because, again, doxing is a thing, and I don't want people. And not even just people who dox. People can stalk you. And it's logical to think that way. Have I ever encountered or heard of grifters in our community? Yes, obviously. Before I forget this, I didn't write this down, but the whole ass fucking grifters of authors, like shadow authors and stuff, there's like dozens of books of people just publishing books. That is a quick ass search on Google. That definitely have never done any spell work or anything witchcraft or magical based. And yes, obviously I have encountered grifters and scammers, especially, Instagram scammers all the damn fucking time. And I didn't write this down either, but the annoying shit is like, people are stupid. Hi, people are stupid. What a surprise. Like, they they go to the actual like person to like say, hey, there's people acting like you. What are they supposed to fucking do? Instagram's not gonna fucking help at all. Like, I have done that, but to the smaller community of content creators, like with 1,000 followers or whatever, because they might not know, since they are smaller. Because I think they kind of need a little bit more than the bigger ones. Like Olivia, the Witch of Wonderlust, has said multiple times that she's annoyed by people telling her that these people are being her and stuff. She's like, I can't do anything. So, and I have had at least 2 people come into my comments on Instagram saying, Grand Rising, you have, and use all like 20 fucking emojis in the text. Let's see here. Okay. So I want to make sure that I had that. So, I kind of feel like Harmony Nice is somewhat close to a grifter. Like, I'm not saying she's a grifter, but she's close. And I say that because she she was in the community for only a few years or so. Like around 6 years, I think. And I don't know how many videos she uploaded, because she did delete like most of her stuff, I think. She got into the community. She popped in for a few years, like I said, or so. Dropped 2 books and a deck, and about 2 years after that, she just says peace and dips out. Iska, the Stitchin' Witch, I've seen about at least 8 people responding to this tag. So obviously, Iska, obviously, Elle Harrison, and today I actually watched The Good Wife in the Witch's Cottage or something, or the Witch House. I love her. She's so cute. And I also watched yesterday, Beanbag Hagwag. Sorry. Beanbag Hagwag. Yes. Justin from The Witch of Enchantment. Lennon Smith, and a few others. But Iska said, roughly said, because this was like 3 days ago, that Harmony Nice is like candy. It tastes good, but I know it's bad for me. She also said something like, I know her videos are shallow, but they're just nice to watch. I agree with her. But I would also say go check out Iska's video, so you can get her actual quote from her, because I'm paraphrasing and trying to go off of memory. And like, I can see some people, obviously, people are going to say this about anything. You're just jealous because of her success, because of her 2 books and her deck. Like, good for her, but also kind of odd that she just spent a few years and stuff, dropped 2 books and a deck, made money, and left. And I know she talked about her mental health and stuff towards the end, which is good. But also, you could also say, like, this is kind of conspiratorial of me, but people do use cover for some things. They do it all the damn time. So that could be her cover to get out. But if she has, then I'm sorry that you've gone through that, because I know how you would feel. Yeah, I'm just trying to cover up my bases. Witch Talk Boy kind of seems like a grifter to me. I found him like 3 years ago. He just seemed he's like, off the bat seems pretty fake. Now it might just be because of how he looked and dressed. Very TikTok. Obviously, his name is Witch Talk Boy, which automatically sounds hella fake. But he does run a shop with his wife. They just got married last year. But both of them look fake, and again, very basic knowledge that you can always look up on YouTube and Google and books. But I did check out their shop about 4 days ago, just for this video. They, like I said, they do offer things in their shop. However, it isn't that expensive of things. They do seem pretty decent. So, like, maybe the grifters are not. Because to me, grifters would have high prices just to make money. But again, I don't fucking know. Some of these people are hella good at fucking masking their bullshittery and their nonsense. And also, I literally just added this with Ella Harrison's video. I know someone, and I'm not saying that they are grifters. I'm not. But they said that they have been practicing for roughly 6 years. Like, including this year, about 6 years. But they have been on YouTube talking about witchcraft for about 3 years. And you come out with a course. Granted, they did come out with a course early last year, I believe. Yeah. Frankly, it wasn't extensive either. But it's just odd that you start within 3 years, and then within 3 years you do a YouTube video or channel, and then within about 2 or 3 years of having that, you start a course. Again, not that expensive of a course. But when I found the Stitching Witch, two different people, the Stitching Witch, Iska, and the Stitching Witch, I forgot their name. Sorry, they haven't posted in a while, because they just actually opened a shop where they live, and they've been going through a lot of legal troubles, because, Christians and stuff, bullshit. And they actually didn't do enough research, because in that state, I believe you can't open a shop and pay for like tarot ratings and stuff. So, not to sound bitchy or whatever, which I'm going to get to in this video, should have done your research. Obviously, I'm on your side, because it's stupid. It's a stupid law, and it's stupid for the Christians to do that. I'd rather have you have your business than not. It's stupid. So I found the Stitching Witch when they were doing a Year and a Day series, and that was about 3 or 4 years ago. But in like one of the first videos, they said it was to document their journey starting out as a witch, which made me suspicious. But come to find out that they misspoke, which, I mean, like, almost everyone misspeaks. So, and they have been practicing for many years. Do I recognize them? Yes, I don't really understand the question for that. What are significant signs of grifters in the community? Weird spelt names. Like, to use one of the people who I also watched was Thorn Mooney. And I'm going to use her name as an example. So, if a Thorn Mooney comes to message you, whether, like, I'm talking about, like, Grand Rising, or your ancestor or deity is trying to speak to you, but also their name is ! TT HORN _MO0NEY exclamation point, then that's not going to be Thorn. You can actually look up her name on Instagram, and you can find her. Obviously, she's going to have the more bigger following of numbers. So that's one of the signs of an actual real account instead of a grifter or a scammer. Like I said, messaging you saying Grand Rising, your ancestors, blah blah blah. And you can also say, you have a curse on you, I'll remove it for X amount of dollars. Which, as most of us know, that is very prominent in the psychic community, or at least was. Yeah, like, some of them are really, really good, like I said, at blending in to gain a following and make a quick buck. What tools are helpful to decipher misinformation, and how can we, as a community, to prevent widespread misinformation? I don't really know. Just try your best to do research, which I'm going to get into a little bit more later. How does a large following impact the perception of a creator? I do believe it does make a person's ego inflate, thinking that they know better or more important than others because of their large numbers. It is okay to call out our elders. Oh, this is on the topic of the community prevent widespread misinformation. It's okay to call out our elders. Like, I'm literally, within the past, like, month, maybe even 3 weeks, I've been, like, having things pop into my head and stuff. And Joe Gardner is one of those people. It is okay to call out our elders, like Joe Gardner, which we'll be talking about later. Like I said, he said that there's no devil in the in the craft. Again, he made it more palatable to people to gain the numbers to help the witches, and Wiccans and stuff. So it's okay to correct people, the older generations. Does this immediately make them an expert on the numbers and stuff? My immediate answer would be yes, but thinking about it, no. Olivia from The Witch of Wonderlust once said, and I love her for this, said something like, "You should probably watch the smaller creators that are just sitting in their home, not concerned about aesthetics, to learn from." And I can see some people possibly taking that as some sort of ego-y thing or negative about smaller numbers and sitting in their home and not concerned about aesthetics. But she's talking about, and she's right, because most of these smaller creators are talking about things that aren't popular and that are talking way more in depth on certain topics, because most of these videos that these big creators are creating are 10, 15, 20 minute long videos. But most topics in the whole world would take hours to learn. Some years. Granted, college and university. Or are there other assumptions as to why they may have a large following? More likely because they're attractive. I could see most of these, I would say all. I would say all. But attractiveness is in the eye of the beholder, or beauty is anyways. But I would say all of them are attractive, beautiful, pretty, gorgeous. Which, pretty privileged and all. I do subscribe to that more than I don't. Some things are about pretty privilege. Good quality camera, good B-roll, plus they have the aesthetics too, which I do love Olivia and other big creators too for speaking out and saying, hey, this aesthetic that I have going on in all my videos and in my background has taken me years to get. So I love that. How does one maintain the balance of authenticity and content creation? I'm not quite sure. I think I do somewhat good because, like I said, I don't really care because of my rebellious nature for Aries and Aquarius. But also, I don't have the fucking energy to be aesthetically pleasing, and I don't have the fucking cash to be aesthetically pleasing. Topic 3, imposter syndrome in FOMO, which is great because I've been dealing with imposter syndrome the past 3 days. Get into it. When I follow other creators in the community space, does it make me genuinely inspired and empowered, or does it create feelings of FOMO, fear of missing out, and being less than? Both. Some inspire and empower me. Most of them do feel oh, hey, cool, entertainment. But some do inspire and empower me. And it's from the same creators too. Sometimes the same creator does make me have a feeling of being less than. Not necessarily FOMO, which I'll get into later. But definitely feeling less than. I've been going through feeling less than right now, or an imposter witch. I feel like a fake witch just because I don't use herbs often. Very rarely, in fact. I hardly ever use herbs. I bought last year pine needles, and which are over there, and some olive leaves, and both of them have come from Greece. It's weird, I don't want to work with them, but I also do sometimes, but especially from Greece. And that's due to me being a Hellenic pagan. But also, I have found out last year I did a tarot reading calling on the fates, the Greek fates, trying to like evoke them and stuff, saying, "Hey, like I've been told by a friend or two that I've had a couple past lives with the gods, so calling them and stuff, and apparently this is my 8th life with the Greek gods, and last lifetime I worked with Poseidon. And on my deathbed, I asked him to please continue our relationship. So that's why I'm very connected to him. And as I'm speaking right now, the rain's starting to rain harder, so that's probably a sign. Anyways, I'm really connected to water. One of my very first videos on this channel was my connection to water video. Let me see. On my channel videos, oldest, 2, 3, 4, 5. My 5th video, from 7 years ago, 7 minutes and 31 seconds. My connections to water, and I'm wearing a blue tie-dye shirt, and I have a tapestry behind me. And I have come across, like, I think 2 other more connections, so I need to update that video. Okay. Like, again, I feel like I should work more with, and, like, I haven't found out which deities and stuff I was working with or worshipping in those past lives. But this one is definitely Poseidon. It's like, he is my main dude on my council, I say. He's like the one in the chair, in the throne, along with Gaia, and I do need to work with her more, for sure, to help balance out the masculine with the feminine. Hold on, let me do this real quick. So, that's what I'm going through right now, feeling like I'm a fake witch because I don't use herbs often. Like, I know they are very popular. I would not say it's trend, but it's in your face all the damn time. Like, all these cool spells and stuff that I see, they're like, oh, you need this herb and this plant and stuff. I'm like, I don't have that. Like, multifaceted. I don't have it here in a bag like this for spell purposes, but also it doesn't grow here too, because I live in Arizona. What's the word? Drought ridden. Heat. So, and plus we don't want drought, or no, non-drought tolerant plants that consume a lot of water. Like, for instance, with last year and a half or so, it came out that one of the fields here was owned by, I believe, Saudi Arabia, and they're growing alfalfa, which it's illegal to grow alfalfa in their country because it takes so much water, and as you know, that's a desert region. So they came to Arizona, another desert region, and is using up a lot of our water, and most of our water comes from the Colorado River, and the Colorado River does feed into multiple states, and so they're trying to come up with possibly restricting us from their water. So we already have a huge ass field of alfalfa that's taking up gallons and gallons of water that we might not even get access to anymore. Granted, love this update though. Late last year, someone, I forget which politician or whatever, made it illegal for them to do that. So they had to get their butts out and not grow the alfalfa, which is cool, like I said, because I have seen a snippet of a newscast of one of the farmers here in Arizona, and they were saying they're drying up everything. We can't get water for our plants and stuff because it's going mostly to the alfalfa. So it's fantastic that we have that progress. If I experience FOMO, has it ever left me feeling vulnerable to be taken advantage of financially or otherwise? For example, the need to purchase the latest popular product or book to fit in. No, it has not made me feel vulnerable to be taken advantage of financially or otherwise. Like I said, I'm an Aries Sun and Aquarius Moon and other placements with those signs. I don't fall for this need to fit in most of the time. Like, I'm not vulnerable. Just like everybody else. Just like everybody else, I am not vulnerable. Invulnerable to everything. When practicing my craft, do I find myself comparing what I do to what I've been seeing people do online? Sometimes I do compare, which would be nice to not do anymore. In what ways do I combat imposter syndrome? I don't know. Like I said, I'm going through it right now. Yeah, it really sucks. What would my practice look like without the social media influence of other creators? In my original video, I said very little, but I watched some videos and stuff reminded me, I wouldn't be here without them. Granted, they weren't influencers at the time. It was 2012. There were no such thing as influencers at the time, especially on YouTube anyways. If they were more teachers than anything else. So I wouldn't really be here without them. So I'm glad that I watched that and decided to recreate this video. Do I consider online communities as equally valid to in-person communities? No. Scientifically speaking, it is better for us to have physical touch and interaction with other human beings. And my theory is, which will be another video, talking about like my beliefs and stuff, pagan and or witchcraft beliefs. Anyways, I feel like since we are physical, like occult, linking with this, since we are the element of earth in the physical realm, our little bodies are hardwired to perceive the world, the physical 3D world, with our 3D body and our brain and nervous system and everything. So it is more important for us to have a community in person, because if you look at the science of touching people and touching things, it does something to the brain, and I just don't think I know it doesn't have the same effects as online. However, I think online communities are important. Many of us, me included, don't have local covens, groups, or friends that are witches. Heck, there are even stories of gamers who are like choking or dying on the other end of the like mic and stuff. And people, their friends, they're like hundreds, thousands, even a whole ass country away, call 911 and save their lives. And most of these friends, online friends, treat me better than the people in my own physical world, my own physical life, I should say. So, yes, they are very valid, but not as valid as physical. How have online occults... Oh, and I do need to say this. Like, I try to have as much nuance in this thing. but kind of haphazardly, getting all connected and stuff. But I feel like the videos that I'm going to do would have more nuance than that, since this is a tag. And, tags fizzle out and stuff, so I'd rather do it now than later to collect all the information and nuance of the conversation. How have online occult witchcraft communities impacted me as a person and practitioner? It has impacted me a bit. I've met good and great friends, found good books. Like I know I recently said about like I wouldn't be here without it, but this is like a different like aspect of the question too. It kind of feels more like a current question because the other one was more like a past question. What are some of the dangers of the current phenomenon of capitalizing off of the witchcraft community? Let me add something before I forget. Okay, I just had to type it out because I find it important to speak on. Okay, I'm going to review the question. Sorry. What is some of the dangers of the current phenomenon of capitalizing off of the witchcraft community? First of all, like these, like I was trying to decide on which was more important, but I couldn't. So they're equally important. Human safety and their salaries. A lot of people are dying in the field of like mining crystals and fucking sweatshops, Amazon, Shein, Temu, etc. And I just remembered something, so hold on. Okay. So, as most of us know, these poor labor laws, making children work almost all day for cents for a day. Very poor salaries. And then harming the earth over harvesting crystals, over harvesting plants. Like, I know I'm going to get shit for this, but I don't find using white sage and other plants of closed practices being cultural appropriation, because it's a plant, first of all, and I think plants, crystals, and whatever should be open to everyone, and it's also how you use it too. Like, again, we know smudging is, I do believe that that term is culturally appropriated because it is a specific style and way how you perform it. So yes, I do believe in that. But like I believe they're on the extinction list or near extinct. So we need to stop. Like my favorite store here in America, in Arizona, sells them, and also was it sandalwood? Some sort of wood. Palo Santo. They sell that too, and it's like I can't, like, it's like a double-edged sword, I guess. Like I can't. Ugh. They're my favorite place because it's technically they're not the closest anymore because there's the astrology store, but that's again more astrology, not witchcraft. So I had to go to this Fantasia Crystals is my favorite place. They moved out further because they're fucking, the people who run the building made their monthly payment higher, which is fucking bullshit. You don't need to. Probably. Like, it's up to them. They should know, and stuff like that. But endangered, I'm more on the eco side than the cultural appropriation side. But with the wood that I mentioned, Um, not sandalwood. um, with the Palo Santo, I believe it's the Palo Santo. It's Palo Santo and or dragon's blood. I don't remember. I need to look it up. So I don't serve misinformation. But here's the thing: you can look it up too to make sure. Because I'm saying like I don't know, so I should be good with that. But one of those takes at least 70 years in a specific way to die, to fall down on the ground into like rot or whatever. It takes 70 years. And with the capitalization of the spiritual community, they're not being harvested correctly. So it's not as it should be. And then, again, with the harming the earth, also goes into the labor laws and human safety. With, like, mines collapsing and stuff. And I'm also fucking tired of seeing merchandise saying, hold on, let me add one thing real quick. Some of the things I'm getting sick and tired of is Moonchild, as above, so below. I know I just said that earlier in the video, but Moon Baby, do no harm, take no shit. Where are the daughters of the witches you couldn't burn, etc. In a way, is kind of like cultural appropriation because we are our own culture and they're appropriating it. Granted, it's not necessarily all closed practices and stuff, but in a way, it is a form of cultural appropriation. And again, it is watering down the topics that the public do not understand. And I know this is kind of like, I don't know the word. I don't think it's egotistical. But it's kind of like how in the 90s, Charm, Buffy, The Vampire Slayer, Sabrina, all had an impact on the Whimsigoth in the 90s. With all the moons and stars and stuff aesthetic. It's kind of like that. Like I know it's kind of an for me to like have this opinion. But it's really getting fucking annoying. Like, first of all, you wouldn't have that shit because of us. We made it popular. And there's definitely misinformation in some of these, especially we are the daughters, or the granddaughters, excuse me, of the witches you couldn't burn. Because here in America, they did very little or no burning of people. That was Europe. Europeans were the ones who burned the supposed witches. We hung them, drowned them, other forms of torture. So that's just a misconception altogether. Plus the granddaughter part, most of them were not witches at all. They were outcasts. They were most of them were just because of fucking feud and egos and bruised egos and stuff like that. So some of them were kind of medicine-y folk and stuff like that. So no on the witch's part. Third, granddaughter kind of annoys me since I'm a dude. Not all witches are dudes, so yeah. Do no harm, take no shit. Wiccan read, and I would highly doubt that most of the witches today don't know the whole Wiccan read. It's do no harm. The law, threefold law, it's not just that. It's a whole ass, I think it's considered a poem, but it's a whole ass long poem. I've seen walkthroughs of Book of Shadows, And some of them are Wiccan, and some of them do have the long form poem, and it takes about 2 or 3 pages to write out the whole poem. So, I highly doubt that many modern Wiccans know the whole. And it's also actually called the Wiccan Read. So, I doubt that they know that shit. So, and one of my videos I want to talk about is, because Anthony actually did a reel or something on her Instagram or a post talking about the new Tarot movie, and I made a comment and I've gotten a few likes on that, saying, voice my opinion obviously, that I think it can be cool, but it's also I think it's hurting the community more than helping. Because again, these are mundane people. They don't know the actual history. They don't know. They're an outsider looking in, not an insider looking in. Not understanding the whole thing. And I think that more, like, to me, I have a few, like, comic book movie ideas and stuff about more folky, witchy, what's the genre? Folk horror, I think. Pagan folk horror, or whatever. Like, some of this stuff is pretty good, but I just feel like witches and pagans should have more of a voice in that. And I'm not talking about, like, how, Practical Magic had a witch on set. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually written, directed, and shot by people in the community. Especially more experienced ones, not ones that just started a couple months ago, or a year ago, or 2 years ago. I'm talking about 5, 6, 7, 8+ years. Because they know what's up. Like I said, I have a few ideas. And, like, I'm thinking, like, am I being a bigot because of this idea and having this opinion? But I think maybe not, because I would, before not the ending credits, but the before credits, I would say this does not reflect actual witchcraft practices or paganism. Because I think that would help a lot, just having that warning in general for anything about witchcraft and pagan-inspired media. It does not reflect the actual community. Right there, I think would help, like I said. Like I don't want to be a fucking bigot. So it's like, do I or do I not? Because obviously the idea seems pretty cool to, like, write about in any format. So, and I'm not even sure if I want to pursue it or not. But, anyways, and on the topic of the capitalistic viewpoint, like, I do definitely need to, like, not be a good capitalist. Spending my money. Like, I wouldn't consider myself a capitalist, but if you spend money, you're a capitalist. Sorry, that's what capitalism is. And I do have a shopping addiction stuff. So, thanks, Mom. Anyways, I do think that witchcraft items and products and stuff should not be made by corporations. Because obviously they're fucking evil. Very immoral. But besides that, they don't know why and what. Why is it that way? What is it for? How is it being used? And plus, usually the things that are supposed to be, like, practiced or used as tools and stuff, like candles, spell candles, are supposed to be infused with actual fucking magic intent in it. So I like to go on Etsy, because most of those people are actual, real, practicing witches, occultists, practitioners, and they make them themselves. And surprisingly, I've found iron, raw iron, and railroad spikes, hand forged things, and like I've seen knives and other tools being forged from like the metal and stuff, but also, like I said, the railroad spikes being formed into Athenais knives, etc. And they're fucking cheap. I thought they would. I found so many of them for like between $20 and $18 for a pair of, I believe it was a pair of iron scissors, hand forged iron scissors for like $18. And I found like some of this stuff is between $18 and $30, which is hella cheap, because I would think that they would be at least 40, 45 and up, since they are hand forged. And also they're the practitioner as well, because some of these items are magically infused, which is really cool, because it saves a buck, but also it's more ethical. Because I'm an artist. I haven't sold any of my stuff yet, but I have thought about it. So I've naturally have looked up videos on how to price your items, and the only things I remember on how to is your time, skill, and the price of the material. So for that, for what they've done, forged, and the price, it seems like a steal to me. And it seems more ethical because they're spending the time to get the material and stuff, which is probably still not with good labor laws where the metal comes from. So that's an issue. But overall, it's still, to me, it would still be better, because there's like two, like the mining of the thing, and then the actual underpaid income of the person who made it for cents on the dollar, and then having it $18, $20, $40, $70 that just costs really cheap to pay them. So knocking one of those down to me seems a bit more better and more ethical. So because they handmade it, hand forged the item and imbued it with their magical intention stuff. So it just seems better to me. And I do a lot of window shopping on Etsy. I would like to get some railroad spikes and iron things. Like I do find traditional witchcraft really interesting. And they do use some iron things, and I would like to explore more with iron. So, excuse me. I would like to get some iron tools or anything like that. So, and I'd also like to try some railroad spikes. I already fucking said that. Anyways, another thing connecting to capitalism and the human safety and salaries and stuff is Temu, Wish, Shein, and other places like that. And I know at least 2 witches in the community. I just can't agree with you supporting them. Like, I'm trying to not, like, dislike you to where I don't watch you. Like, it's out there. The information's out there. It's readily accessible to know that these places underpay their employees, harsh time working, sweatshops, negative environmental impacts, and you should know that most of the art there is stolen art. Like I said, I'm an artist. I hate that shit. And I also hate AI artists as well. You're not artists at all. Don't call yourself AI artists. No, you're not. No. Anyways, it's readily available. And Temu has gone into some trouble lately about possibly like stealing credit card information and stuff. So I have two specific YouTubers in mind, and one of them has a podcast with a witch that I did mention on this thing. Just because I don't like this doesn't mean that like I'm willing to like interact with them and stuff. Now, like I did fall off from watching them for that one person. And like I've been wanting to like comment on their lives, like, so do you still like Timu after all this drama and stuff? But that to me kind of sounds antagonistic, and I don't want to be that. And I also want to be adult too. I want to be mature than that. So, like, there's no way that you cannot know this information. And to me, if you know this and you still support them, it's like, you're not necessarily that. I don't want to say this, but I'm trying to go through deconstructing this idea and stuff. But you're not that good of a person for that topic. Again, I'm trying to get more into interacting with them and stuff. Like, you're just blind. You're willingly to be blind and say, okay, from all this stuff, the art theft. And I've seen, literally last year, I found a tarot deck on Amazon, and I'm like, I don't remember it having gilded edges in that color. I don't remember it being gilded at all. And for this amount of money, and I look to see the name, because I would think it would have the actual author or the shop name. And I think I took a screenshot, but I also shared it, so I copied the link, and I found the actual person who sells their deck on Etsy. And I said, hey, I found this. I'm like, this doesn't seem like your deck, like you're selling it, because I've seen walkthroughs, so I know what it looks like. And I send them the link for proof, just in case if they weren't aware, and they could get a lawyer so they have evidence. And months go by, and I'm like, I should check up on if they replied. I didn't get notified, and they messaged me within that same day, I believe. And he said, yes, oh my god, I've been trying to get this handled. And so I hope you do get this handled pretty well and smoothly, because this is bullshit. And this is the hill I'm willing to die on. A lot of these things are hills that I'm ready to die on. What is it, like 7 of Wands or something? I'm up there, ready to fight. Okay, how I personally have been affected by this, or have I witnessed someone else be affected? I have seen it, but I have not been affected by it. About, like, grifters and capitalization stuff. Obviously, like I said, been a good capitalist lately. But about the grifters and scammers and stuff, I did watch Thorn Mooney's, like I said earlier. And in her video, she said, I don't feel sorry for those people anymore. Who fall for it, because it's very readily available information that there are scammers. And plus, she gave the same reasons of weird names, and they say Grand Rising and stuff, and your ancestors want a message from to you, to give you a message. And frankly, like, I don't want to be heartless or anything, but I don't necessarily want to say it's heartless, but it feels heartless and like a heavy, big thing to say. I don't feel sympathy or empathetic or whatever to you, because it's so readily available and known that there are scammers doing this. You're just dumb. I'm sorry, but you're dumb if you fall for it, because it's been going on at least 2 years. Definitely 3+. You should know. Should there be a paywalled community um, and online courses. Yes and no. I think people should get paid for what they do, but at a fair cost. I'm an artist, like I said. I haven't sold anything. I know decently well on time, scale, um, costs of the material. Um, do I think that there should be a course for $500 to learn pretty basic tarot meaning information? No, because you can get all that free on YouTube and on the internet. Plus, you can buy books that are like $18, $20, $25. Still cheaper. Admittedly. Actually, and I also meant to add this to the beginning, but I'm going to use some mundane examples in this tag, in this video. But, and this was also in my original video too, but in the last month, there was some drama on TikTok, what a surprise. But in the small business community of this woman in Australia mentioning about this, it's really a kid-sized mug, about like that big, 2 handles, made of clay, and it was $125. And she was like, okay, I'm like, she was already like, she didn't know it was the price because I guess there was no price tag on it. And since she rung it up already, she's like, okay, fine, I'll get it. And plus, she didn't notice that it was a 2-handled mug. And so that blew up a little bit, but then it definitely blew up when the creator has stepped in, and she, of course, was saying like, "Oh, you came here, you have a big following and stuff, and you should be supporting us and blah blah blah," as like small businesses and stuff. But here's the thing, like I said about time, skill, and material. Maybe me. I looked up some clay, got the price, and went to the calculator. No, I went on Google and tried to figure out like how the price compared to like how the weight, and like trying to see like how much an ounce was. So I tried that, and I would say like the mug would have been like maybe 5 ounces of weight. Probably more than that. Like, anyways, that the price of the clay, the price of the paint, what is it called? Glaze. The glaze. And I don't know what else that she would have used. But she used a mold. So she does not have the skill. She did not have the time. Granted, she did paint on it. Little strawberries and stuff. Which can be a little bit of the skill and the time. But not as much time and skill, because for pottery, like I've only made a few pieces of pottery before, but with being in the art community and stuff and watching some videos, it can be difficult to learn to do clay pottery, because in order to have the material to be sturdy enough and whatnot, the edges have to be very similar in thickness. Because if this side is paper thin and it's thicker up here and stuff and whatever, uneven, then it will break very fast. And also, if it's not even in the kiln, one of those, I was going to say kiln, then it will break. Then you have less product to use. And to my knowledge, you can't reuse the clay after it was fired. So you're out of money for that item. So you need it to be a good thickness, whether thin or much thicker. It depends. Um, so you need to learn that. But yet you did not learn it because you used a mold. So that cancels out a lot of the stuff. Um, so that mug, being a child cup, um, should have been 20, 50, $70, whatever. Definitely not 125. And people were, stitching the TikToks together and stuff. And some of these people are showing literal cups about this size that they sell for like 15, 20, 40, $70. Again, which is better priced because, again, hers, child size, for $125 with a whole ass bottle size. Like, what's this? 20 fluid ounce. So hers was like what, between 10 and 15 fluid ounces. So how can these people, like, she also pulled the card of, I have employees, so I need them to get paid, which is fine. Bump up the price, for a few dollars or whatever. But still reasonable. Definitely not $125 fucking dollars. And then she has the audacity. I hate people who do this. She has the audacity to say, well, I do like to sell the double handed cups. Because some of the people who are of her audience and who buy from her don't have like strength in their hands and wrists. So having double things do help. So I'm like, yes, go for it. But I've seen people, I have experience from people who take minority things and use it as some sort of, what's the word? Kind of like a human meat shield or something for not being accountable. Like Elle Harrison's video, she mentioned that some of these TikTok witches said that they were Ukrainian and stuff, and they were changing their names to like the Ukrainian language and stuff, and talking about it and whatnot. And most of these, and a lot of these people were like, no, that's false. You're not that. You haven't been talking about it ever. Never mentioned it. So they were grifting off of the suffering of the Ukrainian people. And this woman, this artist, was doing the same thing for more physically disabled people, which was a spin-off, like I said. And kind of for like evidence. In one of the videos I saw, it showed like a live video of like a sale on TikTok. And I searched for the like kind of like mug. Lo and behold, and this goes back to what the buyer who said it, she didn't know it was a double-handed mug. So with her saying that and me seeing this in the live, I found a mug that was pretty close to it and stuff. She turns them where you can only see one handle. Sorry, my computer's a little low on battery. So you're just blatantly lying, which again pisses me off because you're using a minority group to help you morally and as your shield and stuff. So clearly you're an ass. So yeah, you might have good intentions, but your actions speak otherwise. I would like to possibly create a course myself someday, or like a podcast or a book or books or whatever, on certain topics and stuff. And I'm just like thinking on like price and whatnot. Like I don't want it to be super expensive. And other people have talked about barriers of entry and stuff, which I agree, but I didn't want to tip all that stuff out because they know that more than me. So I don't want to like fool people and like I know these words. I don't. Like I know what they mean and stuff, but it's like sewing them together in a meaningful way and stuff. So yeah. I think paywalls are okay. However, I hate when people upload book reviews behind paywalls, and people who don't share negative reviews. And I'll get into this. I hate it when people upload book reviews behind paywalls. You are doing a great disservice to your community. I know that one of the reasons is because you don't want backlash. I get it, but with my sense of justice, I think you are doing your community an injustice. That's when you allow misinformation to spread. People in general are too scared to do bad reviews. Again, I said I get the not hurting the feelings of the author, but yet again, if you do not say, hey, this book is bad, then you're going to allow misinformation to spread. And I have a reminder to talk about a certain YouTuber. So I have a friend who I mentioned before in this video. She reviewed a book by a somewhat they are off of YouTube, but they do a podcast and is on Instagram more. So my friend last year, I believe, earlier last year, or almost 2 years ago, I don't know, did a review on the book, and surprisingly, but also kind of not surprisingly, she gave a bad review, like a 2 or 3 star, because it was talking about some interesting shit that isn't healthy or good to spread around. So I'm like, wow. Because most of the reviews are of this person's friend group. Sound like bullshit. They possibly, I should say, have felt the I don't want to give a bad review of my friend's book and stuff, so they felt pressured to. But in my original video, I said, and I do stand by this, I'd rather, in a nice way, of course, and stuff, more constructive criticism, but I'm going to say it harshly because sometimes harsh does get the point across. I don't fucking care if you're my fucking friend, my mom, my dad, my child. I'd rather be real and honest with you about the information and stuff rather than having spread misinformation. And the book that she was reading was dealing with the wheel of the year. So, and it's pretty popular, and it's been out for maybe at the time of the review, at least 4 years, I think. And now, one of the people who are doing a review video on it is saying, hey, this isn't good. And also, the same person made a review on another book, and it's her second most viewed video on her channel of this other book that was popular but isn't popular anymore, but still kind of recommended. And she was like, this YouTuber, I believe, yeah, she gave it, if she could have, I believe she said she would have given it a 0 star, but she gave it a 1 star, and her 1 stars or at least the ones that she would say are 0-star, would be burned, a book burning, and it was spreading misinformation and animal cruelty and stuff. So there's that. And I think we just need to, like, I'm a softie too. I'm a Cancer rising and other water signs too. So I am a fucking baby. I can't take it, but I'd rather take it, being a softie and stuff, and have those angry, sad thoughts, than have misinformation be spread around. Because again, my sense of justice is I don't want misinformation to be spread around. Simple. How does one ensure authenticity of courses, workshops, memberships, etc. as a financial investment? The easiest thing I can do is try and find if they have other social medias and how long they've been posting, and have they possibly been in some sort of drama of like misinformation or whatever. And I bought 3 courses, but I missed one. So that sucked. I don't know if it was good or not. So, I got this weather witchery, one. I'm blanking on the guy's name, but, it was late last year that it happened, and I took notes. And he's a legit practitioner, and he has some sort of degree in like history or something, so it relates. So he has the actual academic backing to it and the resources to go to find the sources. Very entertaining, pretty long too for me. And I also that was $100-something, I think. But my most expensive one was $500 that I bought earlier last year, called God Song, and it's these 2 people who again are academics, and I believe are practitioners too. At least one of them is. I think the host is though. Both academics, and they go through either the Iliad or the Odyssey, and reading it off and talking about the historical practices of the actual magical practices in it. And as some of you may know, that I would love to get more Greek inspired or framework into my practice. And also, like, I feel like for like memberships of like Patreon and stuff, some of these people do call them covens and stuff. I'm like, can we not call them covens? Because it's not. You're not a high priestess or a priest. You're just giving them some information. Okay? Watering down words, making them immutable? No. Making them not have the impact that they do, which is going to be here shortly. It just annoys me. Conclusion, what are some topics of consideration I'd like to see more in the community? This really is a start. I'm not quite sure what else. What are my community needs? I don't really know. Where would I like to feel more held and supported? Again, I don't know. Where do I feel like I'm not truly being seen by my community? I'm really blaming YouTube for this, about, the whole algorithm thing. So I can only do so much. How can we help each other in removing the external peer pressure and grow in a community? How? I'm not quite sure, but by not being the issue, I would say. We are the ones creating the peer pressure after all. Less aesthetically pleasing, possibly. How can we as a community come together more with constructive criticism without seeming shady or passive aggressive? I don't know. Maybe use "I think" in my experience, or just straight up say I'm not being passive aggressive or shady. but XYZ, your reasonings on why they're wrong or whatever. Or us as a society not automatically think or assume that someone is saying something being passive aggressive or shady. Plus, some of us can't decipher tone over text or even tone in speaking voice, which I am that. Like, I can't really tell if you're being sarcastic or funny or not through text or voice. How can we as a community do better when we do receive criticism or feedback? Work on the ego for sure. We as a community and as a human collective need to stop calling people narcissists, and I got this from Ella Harrison too, because I thought it was a great point. We need to stop calling people narcissists. Stop spinning narratives as the victim. I know that most of us do like therapy talk, TALK talk, and how to get better with therapy, but not everyone is a narcissist. Like, once narcissism became a thing more popular to like talk about on YouTube and stuff, fucking everyone's a narcissist now. There is a word where we get used to a word to where it means nothing or it doesn't have the same impact anymore. Again, I don't remember what it is. And that's what we are doing as a whole. Not just witchcraft community, but as a whole, especially in the Western world. We're using that's what we are doing as a whole, using narcissist, our ist word, anti-gay, to put it lightly, anti-trans, etc. When people are not being that. Like, holy shit, on Twitter, almost everything is fucking isms, ists, phobe, when they're not. Like, come on, people. Fucking get a brain. Who are some community members that I look up to that are reliable resources and aspirations? Taya Kennedy, Thorn Mooney, Lady Grave Dancer, the Foolish Fish, Ivy the Occultist, and others. Kellyanne Maddox, other people. Almost anyone that I follow, really. Add any further thoughts, comments, prompts, questions of your own, express further points, offer solutions. This is where I'm getting in more a little deep. We need to speak out on the possible combinations of ingredients. And I got this from Ella Harrison too. We need to speak out on the possible combinations of ingredients that will create some form of combustion or toxic chemical. She was talking about like misinformation on spell bottles, and like she saw a video of this person adding these two ingredients, but it formed some sort of toxic, like some sort of like combustion over time. So, which we don't want. And I was watching another YouTuber, and I saved it for this part of this portion. If you don't like what someone is saying, then don't watch it. Which, yes, there's a time and place where if it's pissing you off, move along. There's the back button, the block button, etc. But because I don't like when someone spreads misinformation, so does that mean that I just back out? Like, where is the line, threshold of this, of don't watch it versus watching it and commenting saying, hey, misinformation, you're wrong? Because it's the whole thing of mind your own damn business. We're using it wrong. These just back out, don't watch it, and mind your own business. We're using it like Joey Swole, I love him. Mind your own business is like his whole thing. But there's a certain point where, yes, it is our fucking business, and yes, we do need to stay if we do not like it. Because again, misinformation. That's all I need to say, misinformation, right there. The whole fucking point stands on its own. I don't need to get any further into it. Because I don't like when someone spreads misinformation. So does that mean that I just back out? If you say no, not back out, say something, then you should have a caveat saying, except for XYZ, yes, you can back out, except for misinformation, blah, 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 blah. Because, again, generalization, but yet there are points where generalization isn't good. Again, caveats is the whole fucking thing. Because not all circumstances are the same. That's another problem with it's not my own business. Because sometimes it is your business. And there's one of my favorite animation shows, cartoons, Craig of the Creek. One of the final season had an episode of mind your own business, to where it bites them in the butt. And I'm like, see, I'm glad that because it's a kid show. It's a very fun kid show. But, it was talking about sometimes it is your business because something was going to go down, something bad, but Craig, the main character, said, was teaching like kindergartners or whatever, or preschoolers in the creek, saying, mind your business. And one of the kids took it literally, and but the other students learned their lesson that sometimes mind your own business isn't the best thing to do. And again, to take it to an extreme, sorry, minding your own business. Do you mind your own business if someone's getting raped or attacked? Mind your own business, yes or no? Again, don't generalize shit. That's one of the things I'm trying to work on too, is trying to find generalizations in the human species and stuff of what do we generalize, what we don't think is generalized, but what is. I saw a video of a woman talking about her being a witch coming out of the broom closet. Last year I saw a video on YouTube about this woman coming out of the broom closet. In the video, this pisses me off like so much, because she said something along like, I posted a video a while back, and people commented, "Oh, are you a witch?" And she said, the fucking audacity of her. This is, She says, don't force people out of the broom closet. And I'm like, girl. And I'm like, okay, with my experience, when people say that, not necessarily the right thing, the correct thing to say. So I look back, trying to find, because she was somewhat new at the time, so I didn't have to go that far, like maybe 5 months or so. Found it, and it was a TikTok. And in the title, she put spell for something or whatever. And I'm like, girl, in the title, you put spell in it. People know that spell is for witchcraft. Don't play the fucking victim. I hate it when people do this. Holy shit. Don't pull people out of the closet and stuff. Because they could be dangerous. Yes, it can be fucking dangerous. But yet, you're not in a dangerous situation. She lives on a houseboat by herself, I believe. Maybe her partner. She might have a partner, I don't know. But she's on a houseboat. And she has a witchy name for her profile. You're probably not going to get found out, but the fucking audacity of playing the victim of, and it also kind of feels like a higher, somewhat egotistical or like higher stance of moral stance, like shaming you, like don't force people outside of the broom closet. Yet you publicly posted a literal spell. You can't play the fucking victim and tell people, shame them for asking if you're a witch. Because, first of all, you're asking someone, you're not saying witch. You're a witch. Asking someone is different. But again, accusations can ruin a life. So there's that. Watering down, shallow practice. To me, Wicca is a revolving door. They're gaining followers, but a lot of them are leaving. And I think that's because a lot of it is shallow, watered down practices, which I'll get on to later. And this is kind of the Wiccan-y section. Some people say Wiccans are the Christians of the community, as in, don't do that curse, or the threefold law. Not everyone is a Wiccan, and not every Wiccan believes in the threefold law. So shut up. And yeah, I'm kind of glad that Wicca is going out of style. To give credit where credit is due, Wicca helped all of us. None of us, or at least 99% of us, would not be here if it here in the community if it wasn't for Wicca. With that being said, I'm glad that Wicca is going out of style, and now traditional witchcraft and folk witchcraft and other practices are on the rise. I think this will be a great service to newcomers because for years it was only Wicca. But now people can/will know that there are multiple pathways. We need to stomp out the crazy, unhinged New Agers. Many New Agers have done so much damage to the cult community at large. I would say, the information of the cult community has been watered down too much to where it has become shallow. I personally think it might be because of the New Age movement and some Wicca. For example, many Wiccan practices and beliefs come from different ancient religions and cultures, but most of their books don't tell you where it originates from and why they believe it. We also need to say that many have some aspects of, many of us have some sort of aspects of Wiccan belief in our practices, but we are not Wiccans. Some of us go straight to the original source that inspired Wicca. Like for me, for an example, like say something in a book. Like I'm not quite sure on this, but for example, say something that is a Wiccan, but you find out that it's originally from ancient Greece, so back further, because of Wicca was kind of like 1930s when it became public and stuff. So it hasn't existed that long. But ancient Greece, 2,000 plus years ago. So if I have that aspect in my practice, it does not make me a Wiccan. It doesn't. Because I'm going to the original source, and I do prefer the original sources. This is like my opinion, obviously. The idea of a witch, if a person finds the idea of a witch empowers you, it doesn't mean that you're a witch. Because I've seen some videos over the years that people say, and I think I used to kind of believe in this too, but if you find the witch as an image empowering, then that makes you a witch. But I don't anymore. Just because you dress and decorate your space to look witchy doesn't mean you're a witch. Just because you like a fucking aesthetic doesn't mean you're a witch. Or whatever that is. Just because you like cottagecore and stuff, because cottagecore isn't necessarily just all that aesthetic. It's also like baking bread and because a lot of these things like minimalism fucking lost its entire meaning because it got popular and became more of an aesthetic look than, I think it was more like anti-capitalism and anti-consumerism. So it's fucked up now. But I can't believe that people think just because you like the aesthetic and think witches are powerful and empowers you, that doesn't make you a fucking witch. And again, this is one of the videos I want to make. On the topic of research, I think it is more hard to find good, legitimate resources because most of these articles don't even link the sources that they used. And it's especially hard, it's especially hard if you want to write a book. And I want to write a book or books. But it's like these resources don't have fucking resources either. They could be pulling the information out of their asses. Misinformation spreads. Just like in November 16th was said to be Hecate's night. But come to find out that it's UPG. UPG is valid, yes, but it's where you do not specify it's UPG. That's where the problem lies. I love history and stuff, so I want historically accurate information, not misinformation, because it spread like wildfire on TikTok and Instagram. I don't know YouTube, but Instagram and TikTok for sure. And also the two goddesses like temple and whatever that was found last year, there was half of it was true, half of it was not. So I made a comment on one of the videos, so it's fucking crazy. No one fucking looks into anything anymore. God. And on this topic of finding it empowering and stuff, so I generally do give people respect off the bat, just for courtesy's sake and stuff. And at this time, a tag was going through the rounds of YouTube of plastic witches, so fake witches, stuff like that. And Keldon, this is not me calling him out, okay? I bought his book about traditional witchcraft, and I want his. And I mentioned this in my comment of Thorn Mooney. I can still have, like, I did lose some of that off the bat respect for him. He might have changed his opinion or whatever, but I don't know. He doesn't post that much anymore, so off the bat, lost some of my respect for him. But again, willing to buy his books and stuff. I am able, for most people, to not agree with you, but also still support you and like have a conversation. If he's at a booth at a con or whatever here in Arizona, and I go, I'll be fine with talking to him or whatever, especially if I had the guts to, because I'm an introvert and shy and anxious, so I'm fine with that. But in his video, I didn't watch it all, which might bite me in the butt, but at least I've had two or three other people say this too. But in the plastic witches tag, he said it's misogynistic to have this viewpoint of they're not real witches because they're plastic. And I'm like, where does misogyny kick into this? If they're not real witches, if they do it for the aesthetic, or if they find witches empowering, but they're not doing actual spells or tarot readings and anything that's considered witchy, then they're not fucking witches. They're not witches. It's not misogyny, okay? I respectfully disagree. And then we're getting more into a hurt aspect here about eco-shaming and not being a real witch. And I know it's just talking about not being a real witch. But anyways, eco-shaming. I had a fight with one of my friends, which she had the fucking audacity to cause this fight. About 3 months after my mom died. So, picked the fucking correct time. But it was about, in like June, I ordered some dried sunflower petals from Greece for the summer solstice. And I know that they weren't going to get here in time. And she was also like demeaning me and treating me like I was dumb or something. But so I decided to buy some dried sunflower seeds off of Amazon that I could get here in like 2 days. Because I wanted it from Greece because I wanted to connect to the homeland of my gods. So it does have that meaning to me. But she got pissed off, and she already knew this. I told her when I ordered them. So what happened this time to where you fucking attack me? And this was on Instagram, in our private messages. And she was saying, she was eco-shaming me, and she was saying, like, telling me that I'm being hubristic for doing this to the planet, and Hecate is not, Hecate and the gods aren't going to stand for this. And she's saying I'm not a real witch because a real witch wouldn't do this to the environment and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, where the hell did that fucking come from? And I told you multiple times, at least twice, that I was a witch before I was pagan. And in that view, in that order, has caused me to, I don't think Hecate would fucking care. And I've seen some people who say Hecate doesn't give a shit, really, about anything. Especially like that. So she doesn't care if I think or don't think that she has an influence on me. Because she's the witchcraft goddess, or goddess of witchcraft and magic. So she doesn't care. And again, I don't view her as the one who affects my magic and stuff. So, just a whole lot of shit with that. And save that for the fucking Christians who push their beliefs onto others, okay? We're witches. We're pagans. We shouldn't be doing that at all. And this is kind of like for Lennon Smith. Like in solidarity. Because, hey, some of us can, this is unpopular opinion, but some of us can have some form, I don't understand it yet, some form of influence over the weather and other things in the natural world. Because I say this for Lennon because she also, I would say, I haven't heard her say it yet, but she seems more of an eclectic witch. So, underneath that, for like labels and stuff, she does identify as a storm weather witch. And so she has summed up rainstorms and lightning and stuff. And I have too, but mostly rainstorms. And obviously you're going to have to take our words for it. That's all you can do because it's a personal thing. So I can, and it's not all the time that it happens. Because again, it is Mother Nature. Mother Nature's going to Mother Nature. Like we've had a few microbursts since the time I became pagan. And a witch too. But, yeah. But in 12 years, we've had a few microbursts. And with kind of figuring out that I can have some sort of influence, okay, I'm definitely going to have to charge. And you can discredit me or whatever. Say all my videos are shit. Whatever. I would say otherwise. Because of all the time I fucking spent on it. Learning all this witchcraft and pagan stuff. Anyways. Like I said, just kind of trust. Like, again, with the microbursts, I've tried to use that some sort of influence. Because microbursts can be dangerous and stuff. I've tried to calm it down because I've been able to make it rain heavier, make it rain softer, completely stop from a heavy rain before. But I just can't. It's too much out of the human control. It's too much into the domain of Mother Nature, Gaia, Zeus, Hera, weather deities. So it's too much of nature at that point, to where where I can't easily control it, have influence. And every time I've done that, I feel like shit. So last time I tried it, which was like 2 years ago, I had a crystal that my best friend Crystal gave me about 2 years prior, and it's a heart-shaped, multicolored brown crystal that I hold it like this to help me ground. So I was holding that for like 3 hours, and I was slowly going down back to normal. Because again, Mother Nature versus a person ain't gonna do shit. Well, it's going to do shit to you, the person, but not the other way around, from what I can experience. In Ella's video, she said, I don't think everything is valid, which I think not everything is valid as well. However, how do we gauge this? What about UPG? Lady Gravedancer years ago once said that rose quartz doesn't work for her for love spells. But a crystal that isn't labeled as good for love spells works great for her love spells. So where's the threshold? This in the middle, what? Gray area. Does it exist? Does it not? Because supposedly it seems like a gray area from her experience. How do we go about doing this? Because if we are saying that UPG is valid, then go around and say that not everything is valid. Is a person that works with a plant that is not known as a protective plant, uses it as protection, then are they wrong? What if they have the animistic lens? What if they got to know the plant and it's shared to them that is good for protection? Then does that counter the not valid argument? Like, it's not like the plant is not known to be a protective thing through like folklore, myth, and most of the witches in the community. But with working through it, it says, hey, I am able to help protect you. If a person says that their god, let's say Poseidon, my god, helps with creativity, I don't see that. But I've had at least 2 people tell me that Poseidon does help them with their creativity. But he isn't known for that. Then are they wrong? Are they valid? Not valid? What if a person sees their deity as black or Asian, for example, even though it is known that the god is not from their not from the culture or from like state or country where it's from, or their statues don't have the features? Because I've heard that some of the Greek pantheon deities are like black, African, whatever. And I know that there are some biases on either side, wanting diversity and not wanting diversity. So it's really fucking hard to like say, hey, yes or no. So what is it? Because yes, I don't think everything is valid. But then again, what if it's UPG? Invalid, valid, because if you say it's valid for UPG, then it's kind of like, I guess, paradoxically a thing. I don't know. Witchcraft isn't for everyone. Ella Harrison said that too, and other people have said it in the past. Witchcraft isn't for everyone. It's like being a doctor isn't for everyone. A garbage man isn't for everyone. A hairstylist isn't for everyone. So a witchcraft and magic is accessible to everyone, but not everyone should be a witch. Witchcraft is more dirtier, more real, more gritty than the New Age crap. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not all love and light, but it's also not all doom and gloom. I think more people should have that caveat too, because a lot of us do say it's not all love and light. But then you also do have to give the caveat of it's not all doom and gloom either. because I do believe most of society has trained us to like, oh, to go to the other side. Oh, then it must be doom and gloom. Even though we did say it's not all love and light. So, you cannot be misandrist, as in it's misogyny, but for men. So, sexism towards men. You cannot be misandrist and be a witch or Wiccan, because the broom is one of the examples. In the witch trials, someone confessed that they rode a broom to the Sabbath, and it was a man. So if you are misandrist or sexist towards a man, or men in general, and you love brooms, then you cannot be misandrist. Sorry. And if you're a Wiccan, and this is funny too for Dianic Wiccans, they're a goddess-centered witchcraft or Wiccan group, and most of them are misandrist or sexist towards men, and it's funny in a way because again, if Dianic Wiccan, so the framework is Wiccan, but Diana is the main goddess and feminine mysteries. You cannot be a Wiccan in either form. Traditional Dianic, there's another one, Gardnerian, and eclectic Wiccan, whatever other Wiccan there is. You cannot be Wiccan and misogynist because Gerald Gardner, a man, created Wicca. Okay, and I haven't really dealt with sexism as a man in the witchcraft community. And I have seen some posts on Tumblr of people being sexist and misandrist to men. Let's see. Okay. How do we gauge intermediate and advanced practices? This is like one of the main questions for me. Because Olivia, the Witch of Wonderlust, like 3 years ago or something, once said she thinks, this is, again, trying to remember, it's a video with Marshall, the Witch of Southern Lights, so look up one of those. She has at least 2 of them. She says she thinks it's how many layers you add to a spell, which I highly disagree on, because when I first started out, I learned about crystals, colors, the moon, planets, symbols, etc. If I was doing my first spell and I added all those layers, would that make me more advanced or intermediate or advanced practitioner? It wouldn't, because like within the last 5 years or so, I've learned about sun phases, planetary squares, planetary hours, traditional witchcraft associations, so already building up more. And if I found all that stuff out from the beginning and did a whole ass spell with all those layers, that wouldn't make me intermediate or advanced. It would just be, I'm a beginner, and with all the stuff research I've been doing, been exposed to, then I have all these layers. So it's like, how do we find out intermediate and advanced? And I've heard some witches advanced is more experienced, more wisdom, more personal gnosis and stuff, which I guess so. But then how do you write about that, or have a course on that, how to find your personal stuff? And then one of my last point here is that, I know this is going to piss off a lot of people, but, this video is over the time of the original video, so it's going to take a long ass fucking time, so I'm going to have to upload it on Saturday. But anyways, we need, so our patriarchal society has, squashed the goddess and the divine feminine, the feminine aspects and stuff. So a lot of us come into witchcraft to find the goddesses, the divine feminine, and honor it, and honor her, or honor them, which is great and all, and needed too. But however, you are essentially flipping, because if we become more matriarchal, we would probably suffocate the divine masculine in the god, just how the god and divine masculine suffocated the goddess and femininity. So it's not, because like some of these tarot decks rename the masculine cards and put the queen over the king. You're not doing anything at all. You're just replacing one with the other. You're not fixing anything, and plus it's a fucking tarot deck. And with all these goddess-centered decks, it's really frustrating me. It's annoying. Like 3 of them come out every year and stuff. And then, what was I gonna say? So we're essentially doing the same thing, but different players. And frankly, you're cultivating the the receptive, nurturing aspects and stuff of the feminine, but yet you're not paying attention to the masculine, and you could be becoming unbalanced in that aspect, or under because it's like balanced and balanced, too much or too little type of thing, to where, what's the divine masculine again? Let's see. Leadership and discipline come to mind, and I have a difficult time with discipline. These are more traditionally divine masculine archetype associations. But yet, if you struggle with discipline, then you have an issue with your divine masculine. But yet, you're too focused on the divine feminine, healing that, and being more out about the feminine and the goddess. Again, needed, but then you're completely missing half of the whole thing. And in the old times, as in when I was starting out, I saw a few videos of people saying, and I don't even know when the last time I heard this in a modern video, of it is not healthy to be in one element at a time. Too much water makes you too emotional. Too much air makes you too up in the clouds. Too much earth makes you too grounded. And, too grounded. Like, not believing in the spiritual and stuff like that. Too much fire. Too passionate. Too, go, and stuff like that. That stuff does not get talked about anymore, or very little anymore. So, with all these astrology girlies, again, with the watered down information and all the positivity and toxic positivity, you're only getting half of the fucking story. I did a post on this on Instagram or YouTube in my community section, one of those. I think Instagram, yeah. About this topic. We need to balance out both of these things. The God, Goddess, Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine. Because that's how we find true balance. Because to me, that's the whole point of life, is trying to find balance, actual balance. Because you hear about the balance of body, mind, and soul, and then work life and home life, and taking care of a child, taking care of a job and stuff, pet and whatnot. Balance. You're trying to find the balance of the days and your time. It literally supports itself. With some of the like phrases and stuff that we use now in modern day. So that's this video, and it is almost 11 minutes over the original time. So I'm gonna have to upload this Saturday because my dad's going to come home shortly, and with my original video is 2 hours and 11 minutes. So I tried to upload it, and he was complaining about not being able to get on Netflix, even though he could take a fucking nap. So I don't want to have more fucking fight or an argument or whatever. So I'll see you next time. Bye.